Hey guys, so last night I went to see Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and I just wanted to go ahead and share with you guys what I think about it. And first and foremost, I really enjoyed this movie, so I am on the side of the people who really enjoyed it and everything. I can sort of understand why initially I was reading a lot of people say that they didn't like it or whatever, but when it comes to The Force Awakens, I absolutely can say that The Last Jedi, in my opinion, is better than The Force Awakens. And it's for one reason, really, and that is because since you know a little bit more about these characters, I feel like I was able to remain engaged in the movie and not lose interest because it's pretty much new characters. Like, because I was not used to Ray, like this was the first time we had ever seen her, I was like, okay, I have to look at Star Wars, but with a different protagonist, a different take. So that takes me a minute or two to get used to. And what I enjoyed the most about The Last Jedi is the fact that I wasn't bored at any time during the movie. Whereas with The Force Awakens, I felt like there were too many downtimes. And as much as I loved the blind guy who's like the ninja or whatever, like, I think he is the one that really made me enjoy the movie the most. First of all, he was in Rogue One. So let me make a comparison. Um, so characters like that are awesome to have in a movie, and in The Last Jedi, we really didn't have a dope character like that, but I feel like every single character had its moment to shine. Like, you had good old Finn, he had his little quest to take care of with this other girl, and then you also have Rey, which of course is supposed to be our new protagonist, our new hero, heroine, whatever. And then Luke Skywalker. I really liked his role here because at first you see him and he's exactly like what the weather, not the weather, the trailer leads you to believe that he is like, like really uninterested, not really caring to do something or train someone. Like, I'm old girl, just leave me alone. And he says in the movie that he came to that island to die. So, of course, that's foreshadowing that he's going to die in this movie, although I don't think that's really much of a secret because, seriously, what else can Luke do? He does not really live as long as a Yoda would. So we know that his time is up at some point. And then Princess Leia, I was surprised actually to see her survive because for some reason I thought that she was gonna die. Probably because Han died and then it was implied that it was Luke's time to die too. So you would expect that all of these older characters just need to go. But no, she has some life left in her. But now I am concerned about how her part is going to look like given that Carrie Fisher is no longer with us. So, and the best part about the movie when it comes to her is that she pretty much had time to record everything because she is in this movie a lot, probably more than Ray is. So, the fight sequences were fantastic. Like, I have seen some Star Wars fights where, okay, they're cool and everything, but it's hard to really appreciate them entirely, probably because they are really, it's not something practical, you know what I mean? Whereas in this movie, this is pretty much the second time ever that Rey isn't like actively in a battle. So we cannot expect for her to just be naturally an expert at wielding something because even if that's her natural talent, it shouldn't mean that she is already the goddess of just Jedi powers, mastering the Force and everything. So I like to see her surviving with whatever little tactics she knows and can pull off given her level. Whereas, in previous Star Wars films, we see a lot of like crazy jumping, crazy dodging, crazy movements and everything. No, in this movie, it's like what Rey is able to do as a beginner, I pretty much see myself being able to do as a beginner. It's like I can relate, and it's cool to be able to relate a little bit with your characters, even though this is a completely fictional work. In my opinion, I like it when a movie is kind of more realistic, like a little more practical. And of course, I cannot talk about things being realistic because, hello, space battles, are you kidding me? At the rate that we're going, I know that this is possible, but we don't inhabit other planets and let alone no other species. So that's insane. But yeah, you guys, like I said, I absolutely loved this movie. It was packed with action. I thought that the dialogue was great. The part that everybody kept crapping on, which is Finn and this other girl, and how that part dragged along, honestly, it didn't even feel like their part was that long, unless I just completely lost the notion of time because this was the midnight showing and I was ready to go to bed. But some people were saying that there's like 20 minutes or 30 minutes of Finn and this lady, I forget her name. But it's not like the movie completely focused for 20 minutes on those two characters. It was like um, you had their scene for about 3 or 5 minutes, then it would shift to say something with Rey, something with Luke, something with the general, Princess Leia, and then it would go back to them. Now, had it been 20 minutes straight of their quest, then I could pretty much have an issue with that. But no, like it was perfectly balanced for me. And then the villain Snoke, he went down pretty easy to me. Like he's definitely not as intimidating as Palpatine. So for me, I'm not sure how I feel about him as a villain. I don't want to say that he's weak, but it's just that I feel like Darth Vader was one to be really worried about, and also Darth Maul, but of course, there's just no hope for Darth Maul to come back, and I would just love to see him, again, because to me, he's the best villain ever. But, anyways, one thing that I missed from this movie were more unique powers being shown. Like, for me, I will never forget from The Force Awakens, that scene where I think it was Kylo, he was able to stop a freaking laser, a blaster laser, like while it was traveling, like the projectile. He was able to stop that. To me, that was such a dope scene. So I would have loved to see something like that. But like I said, the action sequences, the fighting in here, it's good as it is. But I was looking forward to seeing more power that we haven't really shown yet, like the abilities of the Force. And I also enjoyed, speaking of the Force, I enjoyed the definition that we finally got for it. I know that in previous movies they had done that, but I loved the way that Luke was teaching it to Rey. Like, no, you have to reach out with your mind. And, she was literally trying to like reach out in one of those scenes. But, he was like, no, it's pretty much, Rey was pretty much describing the forces of nature. So, like, say, a wave breaking on the shore, that's violent. Birds are peaceful and stuff like that. So I thought it was a pretty good take on defining the Force. So, and another really cool thing was we had a moment where Yoda came back, and he came back to destroy the documents of the Jedi. Because that's why the movie is called The Last Jedi. It's like you have these teachings of the Jedi that you have to teach, of course, but then given the circumstances, that stuff is getting lost. So I guess Yoda's point was, you know this stuff, you have read these documents, why are you holding on to them? And then um, he's also passing down the teachings to Rey to some extent, and then there's really nothing that Rey doesn't know that she would need to learn from those books. So Yoda in spirit form, he like summoned his lightning or whatever and then destroyed this mini mosque or temple, whatever, at this island where Luke is at and completely obliterates all that. And it was just amazing. And additionally, this movie was so incredibly beautifully shot. Like everything in space looked awesome. The battles, the scenery, the island, it's like you may look at it as it's just your old normal regular island, but there's like little details to it. There's like a an aircraft of some sort like under the waves, and you can actually see that. Ray actually sees that. That's pretty awesome. And then it was also cool to see Ray and Chewie just working together, like flying the Millennium Falcon and everything. So it's just great, guys. I really feel bad that the movie is getting like a 50-50 kind of feedback. Like some people say they dislike it, some people say they hate it, and other people are saying that they love it and it's possibly their favorite movie. I personally have a bias for Darth Vader. Like to me, he is my favorite villain, so I miss him. That's what makes me say that I cannot say this is my favorite movie. But if I think about the elements that I saw and how memorable this movie is for me, I can say that this is definitely up there. If it's not my favorite movie, if I don't consider the Darth Vader factor, I would say this is my favorite movie. So now, if we had the old movies remade with like CGI from today, maybe it would really be like, okay, the old movies are untouchable. But seriously, guys, I was entertained the whole time. There wasn't a lot of like talking. You know that there are movies that they just talk and talk, and it's diplomacy and politics and everything. I feel like past movies already took care of that. So since we know what the war is about, I guess they sort of skip that and they allow for you to explore more in depth into the characters. But I just really seriously, I seriously enjoyed this movie. It's great. So um, I guess I'll need to look further into why people are saying that they dislike it, but actual details as opposed to just crapping on it just because you want to hate on something that's new. But yeah, I like Ray as a new protagonist. Finn is awesome, and everybody else who we saw and liked thus far, like Poe, he had a huge role in this movie actually. So it was cool to see new characters that are good and seeing them shine, you know. So yeah, you guys. At the end, I definitely would recommend this movie. It's one of the best movies that I have seen this year. I enjoyed it. I had fun from beginning to end. I cannot really tell you which scene I loved the most. There was some good humor in there, and some people think that some jokes were out of line, and I'm like, no, to me all the jokes seemed relevant and appropriate, and they seemed like it goes with the personality of each character. So I don't know why people are tripping over that as well. But anyways, you guys, all right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Have you seen this movie? What do you think about it? What disappointed you? What blew your mind? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? And if so, why? Um, so yeah, let me know in the comments below. And as always, I will see you soon. Bye.